And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another edition, another season here of the OSC Elite Rising Star tournament. OSC Elite Rising Star number 17.5. It's an interesting one, but welcome and all, bienvenidos, welcome, and I'm of course your host Live VIP, joined by these amazing players by the P1 chat as well. Welcome one and all, welcome to the OSC Elite Rising Star. This is a tournament that is actually restricted to players that haven't achieved too much in their careers. It is for what? It is for the rising talent in the scene. So players that place too highly in big premier tournaments and big regional events are ineligible to compete in this tournament. So we can feature players like Jimmy, players like Young Yakov, Percival, and many more. So again, we're here to kind of like see the rising talent in the scene, to support the rising talent as well, as it's going to be day one of the event. Now again, usually these events, they last a good number of weeks. I say weeks, typically a good number of months. If you remember during the podcast, we did go over this, how it is scheduled to end by December of this year. It takes a while. There's a lot of rounds, a lot of matches, a lot of StarCraft is going to be coming up ahead of us. Before I get ahead of myself though, a big shout out to Slow Joe in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $72.83 donation. I see some math was involved. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it dearly. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the content, hope you enjoy the casting, hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Hope you enjoy as we can switch things over and catch up on the bracket itself. Again, it is going to be a massive single elimination bracket. Now, I believe the reason why this is called 17.5 is because these events, these OSC Elite Rising Star tournaments, are usually double elimination. They're usually double elimination, which does kind of lead into why it takes so long. Every series is casted, and again, it often does take a good number of months, like 3-4 months, to conclude one of these events. But this time, single elimination tournament instead, as we try to zoom in and catch up what's been going on. Okay, so we have the bracket made, and we are here to cover the first day, the first round of matches. First up, we have Sebestus versus Hydra facing off in PvP when it goes up against Shameless. We have Homeowner versus Hackers Top in a Terran versus Random. We have Mute versus Defiance, which is our first series of the broadcast, leading into Rebellion. We'll be following those two into that second round match. We then have Mini Zerg versus Eon. I don't think they've ever played against each other, just because they're in different regions and they don't often play in open cups. So going to be an interesting and exciting ZVZ there. We have the winner of that into Inexorable. We have MiddleVK versus Demi. It's great to see Demi still competing, still active in some way, shape, or form when it goes up against Young Yakov. We have Ragnar versus Lemon. We have Hatsul versus Creature into Jumi. We have Patches versus MJG into Letalix. So again, we do have our games, we do have our matches. I will say, I said this during the podcast because we had already gone over this bracket, but we are missing Percival. Like, when it comes to the top players of each race in this kind of tournament structure and in this kind of like segment of StarCraft, or in this niche, typically for Protoss it's Shameless, for Zerg it's Young Yakov, and for Terran it's Percival, right? Like, those are the three Terran, those are the top three players of the last couple of seasons. Like, those are the three players that I look to most here when it comes to who's going to be favored in this event. But yeah, there is no Percival here. Maybe he just was unavailable. He didn't accept the invites. Without Percival being here, I would say that Terran players are going to have a harder time having some representation. I'm looking at Honmono, and I'm looking at Homeowner. So we'll see. There was another Terran that I can't think I glossed over. It was Honmono. Oh, right, Inexorable as well. Honmono and Inexorable as kind of like the notable Terrans in the event. Otherwise, Protoss, and mainly Protoss, and a little bit of Zerg sprinkled in as well. So yeah, it's a lot of matches. Of course, we'll be covering 6 best of 5s. That's another factor here. These are all going to be best of 5s, which would be crazy. A lot of games, a lot of matches. Up first, we're going to be jumping into Mute versus Defiance in a TVP. Let's go. Let us go. Also, bienvenidos a all those in the chat. I see Salensvide, Slow Joe as well, of course, as well. Leidith, bienvenidos. Gura, bienvenidos. As we are jumping into our first series, our first best of 5, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the American Terran player. We have the yellow Terran for the Platinum Heroes. It is Defiance. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the teal Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is a Mute. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we are getting into our best of 5. Bear that in mind. Best of 5s tonight and nothing but best of 5s. Up first, we do have our TVP. Now, coming into this, Mute is going to be the heavy favorite, especially in the early rounds. We are going to get these more one-sided series. And looking at the matches here tonight, I do believe that we do have quite a number of them. But again, we are going to be jumping in. We do have our initial best of, and we'll see what Defiance brings to the table. Defiance, he's more of an up-and-coming player. I mean, that's what this event is for, I suppose. True. But even more so, like, Defiance, he's still kind of like working his way up through the ranks. Really cool to see him a part of OSC Elite, and we'll see if he can pull a fast one over on Mute. I do feel like shenanigans are going to have to be had here. I don't know if standard play would quite be enough. We have a double gas opener at a Defiance going for a faster factory. This can lead into faster starports. Technically, this can lead into a one base all-in, but I can't really imagine too much one base play, especially on White Rabbit. So now we are going to be completely walling off here in the main base. The probe scouts did not confirm the gases. Pokes up the ramp and does spot the factory. Oh, there you go. Factory was close enough. The probe is fully aware, and Mute is now aware of the later expansion. With this, we should be seeing safer play out of our Protoss player. Already setting up for the potential SimCity to fully roll up. Cybercore is now done, and we should soon be seeing our tech of choice. We will get there. Likewise, Defiance is banking up his minerals, which means we should be seeing that CC on the high ground. So again, racks into factory into a delayed expansion. We are going to be setting up. Looks like it is going to be initially Reaper Hellion, so a pretty big commitment here into Reaper Hellion out of Defiance. Big commitment. It's going to be a big commitment. I mean, oh, the first Reaper already goes down. Mute, he is aware. He does scouts, so Bakanomi can prepare. He can start to warp in, fully wall off. The purpose of Reaper Hellion is to get economic damage, but because it's been scouted, Mute has the wherewithal, to start to wall off that natural. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Defiance to find any damage with this. He's waiting for the next round of Reaper Hellion. And we'll see what he can get done. Meanwhile, we do see Mute just playing very safe. We have 2 gates on the way, 1 gate's already done, so 3-gate blink. 3-gate blink alongside a robo. It's a very safe play here by Mute. Playing it safe. Defiance moves out. Defiance making more Reaper Hellion and a Liberator as well. This is even more committed than initially thought. Oh boy, okay. So Defiance is doubling down. This needs to get damage. Again, the goal here would be to break into the mineral line. Just break past the wall, get into a mineral line, get some economic damage done. But again, Mute is going for a safer build. Like, he already has full stalkers. Blink is going to be done. Second factory? What is going on? Second factory's on the way. We're getting into mech. It's been a while. We have seen a little bit of mech out of players like Cure and out of players like Maru and TVP. Post-patch, I should emphasize. Pre-patch, we saw it all the time. But post-patch, we have seen a little bit of it early on, but just barely any. So bold move here by Defiance. And again, it's just taking too long. Like, look how many stalkers there are. There are 10 stalkers to defend, so Defiance will not get into the bases. And again, this Reaper Hellion does not scale well. It is the issue. This does not scale well into a longer game. That's why there was a lot of pressure on Defiance to move out soon to try to get into a base. Liberator does arrive at better damage here. 4 probes. 4 probes go down. Back at home, there's not much to defend. There's 1 tank in the main. There's one tank covering the main base. But the bunker is exposed. Just trading with the Hellions. Picks off 2 Reapers. As the tank is repositioning. Ooh, links in, takes on the Viking. Nice pickup. The next dive can be on the tank. And you can see he's making he's making 2 tanks at a time. This is also why the second tank is delayed, because he did invest into the second factory. So very late second tank. And we're just diving in. Yeah, we're diving in. The first tank goes down. The second tank as well. And that's going to be it. There's just nothing left. There's nothing left. There's nothing here. Again, Defiance going for a crazy build, investing, doubling down too hard into Reaper Hellion, and then delaying a second tank. And that means that there is no defense. Without the soldiers are Turnbull out of control. They shut down the workers, the tanks, the entire army. We do have a bunker left over for Marines, but that's really all there is. And we just ignore it. Yeah, we just ignore it. Going further into the main base, chamber the production. GG gets called, and Mute takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. An interesting style here shown by Defiance. Unfortunately, I feel like the build itself had left much to be desired. As we mentioned, unfortunately, he did wait too long. He made too much Reaper Hellion. Because he made too many, he had to wait even longer to get everything sorted to be able to move out across the map. By the time he did, there was already a full wall off. We already had 10 stalkers. He had missed any kind of window. He had missed any kind of timing to be able to make use of that Reaper Hellion. Unfortunately, the follow-up also killed him as well. That played its part. The follow-up was to go for a second factory before the second tank. Just really fast double factory, double tank production meant that there was a big window of time there where there was only 1 tank to defend, which means Mute could just ignore it, or you could just dive in. Could and did just dive in. And with that, we're not going to be getting into game 2, and we'll see if Defiance can bring it back here. We'll see what Mute brings to the table instead. Let's go. Or really, more than anything, how he reacts. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the yellow Terran player, the yellow Terran, the American Terran for the Platinum Heroes. It is Defiance. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player with the Seal Protoss for Bing Bong Exports. It is a Mute. Here we go. Now welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline is a much smaller map in the map pool, shorter rush distance by ground. If Defiance wanted to go for something more aggressive, more so than last game, then this would be the map to do it on. And that's kind of what we're expecting, or at least what I'm expecting out of Defiance. Mute, he more or less went for a reaction as to what he was up against. Remember, he scouted the faster factory, he scouted the Reaper Hellion, so Mute, he had the information to work with to be able to wall off, to be able to go into a higher gateway count, and then counterattack. Once again, double gas opener at Defiance, opening up double gas, going for a faster factory. Once again, a tech heavy start out of our Terran. Last game, this led into reacted Reaper Hellion. We'll see what he goes for this time. Can lead into Woodmine drops, can lead into Woodmine drop into Banshee play. Earlier Raven harass. Your tank production. Show us what you got. Very good. So from here we're settling in. Likewise, so is Mute. Mute just going for a standard opener, just going for his own gate expand. Very early safety bunker. Wait, what? Huh. So an interesting choice here. The logic here is that he's getting his bunker because he doesn't want to get his CC on the high ground. He wants to get it on location, but that costs you a bunker. On top of that, the bunker doesn't necessarily keep your base defended, just because we could see, say, an adept opener, right? Adept follow-up. Speaking of, like, the adept could just bypass the bunker and just go straight for the workers, and does do so. SCV goes down. Nice delay. Going for the other SCV, and we'll get it both. Oh god. Yeah, both SCVs go down. There's a Widowmine to zone away at least, but the adept is doing well for itself. Oof. Reaper gets hunted down, and this has been a very shaky start here for Defiance. Very shaky. As Mu destroying down extra gateways. So far he has, I believe, two gate. Two gate blink into a robo. We should be seeing a third gateway soon. Oh, as he does poke in. Big supply block here, unfortunately, for Defiance. This time not Reaper Hellion, this time is going Reactor Marine, Widowmine drop. Oh. It's out the mine. Well, the mine does trade well. Ooh, that's an extra gateway being thrown down. So game one, we had a 3-gate blink, a safer build out of mute. This time he's going for a much more aggressive build, going into 4-gate blink stalker. Ay, ay, ay. Now, what's scary about this setup here is that because of the lack of Reaper Hellion, what does that mean? No scouting. It means that if you look at the vision here from Defiance, he scouted the main base with his initial Reaper, but he has zero information after that. He doesn't know how many gateways there are. He doesn't know how much danger he's in. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know. Oh, that's another big supply block. He's getting into zone 3-1-1 setup. Brutal supply block. Mute is moving out. And back at home, 0 tanks. There are 2 bunkers on the low ground, so the natural base is relatively well defended, but the main base is completely open. There's a ring of Widowmines, I suppose, but with good enough control, Mute can avoid that. Scan on the 3rd. Mute where we headed. Breaks in. Base at the mine shot. Ooh, the mine shot does still connect though. Yeah, strips away a lot of shields. So far, so good. Defiance is holding. It's holding on back. But again, without any tanks behind this, his position is still so much more. It's just still so weak. Yeah, position is so much more weakened here. The first bunker goes down. Depot as well. Stim is still on the way. And unfortunately, this build has been very shaky as well here from Defiance. It leaves much to be desired. He opted not to go for the mine drop. One Widowmine connects. The others are being cleaned up. Now Mu can fight out of range of the bunkers. As he is forced out, gets 3 more CV kills. Again, ideally, if you're going to be going for a very heavy buy composition, if you're intentionally skipping tank production, then going for a 2-1-1 or even 3 CC 3 racks or just a 3 racks would make a lot more sense. But this was a 3 rack setup after the starport. And Mute is done it. Mute has broken the natural. Boys are being pulled, SCVs are going down. Oof. It's gonna be another 8 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Now Stim is in the mix. Defiance trying to chase down the stalkers, but alas, cannot quite do so. And again, Mute, he's on 3 bases. He's on 3 bases, he's on 60 workers compared to the 29 SCVs here at Defiance. Again, it's just been a very shaky early game here for our Terran. Very shaky. As Defiance, he has built up a decent chunk of Marauders, and with that heavy Marauder count, he can fight head-on. True. Can fight head-on, but last supply isn't quite there. Drops into the main base. There's not really much at home to defend. Has to stim back. Home. That's going to be another 5 SCV kills. Stalkers poke in, going for the natural. Defiance being pulled apart. His entire army reacts to the drop. And that means that more SCVs are going down. Another 13, 14 SCV kills. Aye. As Stalkers move back, the Prism can move back in. And it does. It does head back into the main. And at this point, Defiance, he's all in. He's heavily overstimmed. And there are 2 Colossus. 2 Colossus waiting. One of them is going to be targeted down. No, not even. No shot. The Colossus survives. GG gets called. And Mute takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. With that, Mute, he does extend his lead in the series. Again, when it comes to Defiance's build, I appreciate that he had some variety here. Game 1, he attempted to go into mech. Game 2, here he went into his own attempted bio setup as well. As you mentioned, though, the build itself left much to be desired. 1, sure, there were a lot of supply blocks that didn't help, but 2, he opted not to go for any mine drop harass. On top of that, he intentionally delayed, or I say delayed, he just opted not to have any tank production. He chose not to get a tech lab on his factory, and he chose to try to go into later stim as a result. And that's why he was abused so heavily there. Like, typically, even with a mine drop opener, you typically want to follow that up with tanks to be able to defend your bases. Without any tanks that early on, and without, say, earlier stim or earlier marauders, there was no defense. So it's been interesting to see the variety of builds here from Defiance, but they feel very, very rough around the edges, or they feel like, you know, maybe Defiance kind of freestyling or kind of making them up himself. Which is cool, but like there are things that can be abused as a result. And this morning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the yellow Terran player, the yellow Terran himself. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. It is Defiance. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the teal Protoss player. The teal Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. Fun fact, something that both Game 1 and Game 2 had in common for Defiance is that both games he did delay tank production, if not just skip it entirely. And this is something that has been abused from Mute. Mute has been able to abuse that fact in both games. Oh boy. So it has been quite rough. We'll see if we can bring it back. Once again, double gas opener out of Defiance. Opening up double gas, they're going for the faster factory once again. And we'll see where he takes us this time. Defiance is just moving out with this SCV scouts. Oh, never mind. Okay, so we could see a Rax into factory into a proxy starport. Oh, but no, we're going one step further and just going straight proxy factory. Okay, one base all in. One base all in. And again, like, I do want to give credit to Defiance for at least bringing something different to the table every game so far. And again, we haven't seen this yet in the series. Now, with this, we can go into proxy. We have gases. So gases have been taken. We can go into a tech lab into proxy tank. Otherwise, we go for tech lab into proxy cyclones. Even into both, I suppose. Yeah, reactor back at home. Checking Mute's vision, he did not get into the main. True.
Watch your mineral line.
Crucial that he did not get in. Snipes the Reaper. There's that tech lab into Starport. Again, we're leaning more towards proxy tank, or at least maybe even tank and cyclone. And we'll see if he can keep this hidden. Mute's going for a safety shield battery here at his natural. Twilight counter opener out of our Protoss. So he pokes in.
I am here in the shadows.
Yeah, pokes in, spots a reacted marine at least, but that's all he does spot. Soften up the marines. It is going to be the proxy tanks. We got tanks, we got liberators. The boys are being pulled. Is this too soon? But I believe so far unscouted. He pulls away for a moment, but he will eventually spot this coming. There we go, does spot the SCVs, he knows. Yeah, now he knows. Back at home, second shield battery. He's throwing down his battery. He has two stalkers. Yeah, two stalkers to defend. Third battery's on the way. Defiance, can he pull this up? Can he get within range of the pylon? That is Nartos' pylon. The tank is pretty far back. Oh yeah, the first tank is far too back here. So no support from the tank. Marine's going to be going down, getting 3 Marines. Speaking of the SCV, another Marine goes down. And again, that first tank isn't doing anything here. What forward. And the army's being bullied. Yeah, Defiance, he's going to lose almost every Marine. There was potential with this, and now the tanks are moving forward. Now he's getting within range of the pylon. Oh, ball placement here with the bunker. Yeah, bunker is killed. Immortal pops out, so going for the first tank. And the first tank goes down. Takes down the tank, takes down the second tank as well. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, repairs are not in time, and GG gets called. GG gets called. The all-in has failed. And Mute will take the series 3-0, advancing on to the round of 16. GG. GG, and Mewtwo will claim this series. Again, I appreciate that we saw something different here out of Defiance, and there was potential with the overall build as well, but he was a little bit too conservative with the placement of that first tank. We did bring it up, of course, that first tank was too far behind. It wasn't really adding anything to the engagement, to the fight. He wasn't able to really apply any pressure. Ideally, you want to push further forward, especially because that early on there's no blink. Right, that's too soon for Blink. Blink was not a factor, so it could have been more aggressive and more assertive with that first tank to not just push forward, but to protect the bunker and protect the Marines. Remember, before the second tank arrived, before the tanks came into play, 6 Marines were killed. Like so many Marines were sniped in the lead up to that, so there was that much less support, and the position was that much weaker. GG. GG, well played. With that, Mute does claim the series, and we're going to be following Mute into the next round. Up next, we're going to be getting into a PvP. This should be a closer series. I mentioned before that Defiance, he's a little bit more of an amateur player, more of an up-and-comer that's kind of trying to gain more experience. Here, Mute and Rebellion are much closer in skill. Rebellion being the Korean Protoss, Mute being the Peruvian Protoss. Both players have their accolades, and we should be seeing more of a back and forth here. That should be.